here we are back. I think we are back.
Okay.
Sorry, everybody. We had
Sorry, guys.
we had a big issue. We don't know why, but here we are back. Sorry for their interruption. Now we can continue. And we were saying,
Okay, we were saying I was just telling to our guests about the what is the reaction of booming of the third parties for Morkborg, how they feel about this. Are you proud? Are you scared because they are very too big?
Yeah. I fucking hate it. No, I'm kidding. It's really wonderful to see all the third party lives, because as we were saying, we never expected Merc Body to be as successful as it is. Um, we thought it was going to be just like a print on demand scene at first,
Yeah.
but then once we opened up the third party license, it really exploded, and it's so amazing, I think, to see all these creatives making cool shit for the game. And they, because they come at it from an angle that we could never have, because we all have different influences and different ideas and everything. So the third party community actually makes the game richer in lots of ways that Stockholm Cartel could never have done. And I think that's amazing. Like I try to buy and back every Mörkborg third party thing that I can, just to keep like a library and like read it and re-explore this game in a way. So yeah, awesome.
Yeah, it's great.
M-
Also,
m-
it's a bit. It can be a bit difficult as well, because every time, at least when I come up with an idea for something, it's already done by someone else.
absolutely.
So it's almost impossible to write something new. We,
It's the Simpsons did it, but in Mörkborg.
I
yeah,
I absolutely agree with you now that Ex Libris is live. Absolutely. I think you both know what it is. And every time I think of something for Mogborg, I try to search there, and most of the time it's already there.
Just do another one, but better or weirder or stranger. There can't be too many of the same thing, I think.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
may I tell you honestly one thing? There is one big difference. Just to give a support to me to Pele. There is, I think that there is a very big difference between what is original creation by the creator of the Morkborg, you both, and all Stalker compared people, and what the third party did. Because even the third parties did great things. Absolutely, there is a very high level of production, I admit. But what you did originally with your manual, the path that you gave to the people, it's something that it cannot be changed. And I think that 1000 adventure or expansion or zine that are published into Drive to RPG, into any
Mm.
possible server, could not substitute the hype that every original manual of Morkborger produced by you could give it to anyone. And this is not just only for the adventure, but maybe even for the what I call the sons of Morkborg. Okay, so the game that are could be considered like a hack of Morkborg,
Mm.
that are not made directly by you, but the Stockholm Cartel, have not the same feels. This is my perception as user, as player, as master. No, but I tell you very honestly, just not to tell you that your things are always better. No, but it's something that you feels that they are the original ones, and they gave the path to the players. Eric, do you agree with me?
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And there was a very interesting question in the chat before we wipe out, and and is from Sirix6, and there was one idea that was too much, and you choose not to put in Morkborg. That was too extreme or too maybe violent or not safe.
Try to think of any. I don't think so. Honestly, there were things that were changed, but not because we thought they were like too out there or too wild. Honestly, uh, can you think of anything, Pelle?
No, I don't think so. I think we tried not to overthink stuff. So we did exactly what we wanted to do.
Yeah,
But the good thing is that there are two of us, and Johan has a lot of input on the writing, and I'm not. It's not. I can't do anything about it, but sometimes I might not be politically correct, and then Johan can come in and fix that. So that's the only thing I can think of. I think I wrote a couple of things in the core book that could have been misinterpreted for something else. It wasn't in my mind, but so that was very good.
yeah.
Yeah,
But it was nothing because we, as you said, we did what we wanted to do, and we
Yeah.
never set out to like be provocative or cause a controversy or anything. We just did what we thought was what we wanted to have and what we thought was fun and appropriate for the vibe of the game.
Yeah.
So no, I don't think so. I know we changed the goblins from like first they were like children being getting lost in Sarkash and they would eventually turn into goblins, but then that was a bit too close to the dolls.
Okay.
So it
Yeah.
wasn't like we can't do like children being harmed because we have the fucking dolls in there, but it was more of like we need to do something different. But and yeah, we no that was more like we changed things because we wanted it to be unique, but yeah, not because it was too extreme.
Okay. Okay. This is very interesting. And a question that I like to ask is we know a lot now about MÖRK BORG. Now also Cyborg is out. We also in Italy, but I think also outside Sweden, don't know much about Stockholm Cartel, and we'd like to know a bit much because I don't know if it's been asked to you before, but it could be very interesting to know something more about this reality.
Well, about the group
Yeah,
Stockholm Cartel,
absolutely.
what it is. It started out. It's basically like a group of friends
Okay.
in a way
Yeah.
that has a name. It's not a company. It's not like a business of any kind. It's just we're like 15 people or so, and it's in at first before we were publishing games, we were running games at conventions. So we had like a drop-in OSR corner basically where you could come and play games with us. And then it was the first game that we put out was actually MÖRK BORG, or it was Barkexan, the game that you and I collaborated on before, the horror game, but that was not that was a smaller game. But it was MÖRK BORG, and then we have now sort of become this design studio, if you will, or whatever, and made more games. So but yeah, we're a bunch of designers and idiots who travel around on conventions and who make game stuff sometimes, pretty
Yeah.
much.
This definition, believe me, it's wonderful.
That's like what we are.
Yeah.
And then most of us aren't even producing anything. Most of us are just playing games and having a lot of opinions about things. So
May
yeah.
I ask you one thing? Well, I would like, no, it's not a question. It's just I would like to share you one thing with you. As a little bit older player, I was really bit disappointed with the actual mass games like no, no, Dungeons and Dragons and the other one that in name of playing game for everyone, they cut from everywhere what is a reasonable balance between what is evil and what is good. Okay, when I read the first time Morkborg, I found finally that it is possible to send a manual to practically everyone, including the evil creatures. Evil, just be evil. Okay, not evil justified by something that happened in their life. Okay, we are all in the same pot. Everything will go to ruin because the world is going to finish. So this impressed me a lot because it was the reply of the real wish of a master from my age to let the people play what they want, in which way they want. So this is the real, for me, the real potential of this game. That this game leave the people and even the master so free that actual game with the boundaries, with the limits that they impose to you, doesn't give to the players and even the master. So for me, the real powerful of this game, and I would like to, I'm proud, I'm happy to tell you right now, straight to the creators, it is what Stockholm Cartel and you both gave to the master and players of this generation. Okay, this is my personal thanks.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
What is your feel about the presence of evil character and evil alignment, as we can say it, in so normally way, uh, in so simple way in your game? Do, do, do you feel this aspect, or is this something that is I'm just told you by a crazy Italian man that stayed in this picture?
I'm not really sure exactly what you mean, but I mean, there is certainly evil beings in the world of MÖRK BORG. There's a bunch of undead and demons and shit and cults, whatever. But it's a terrible world. It's like the whole setting and the concept is that everything sucks and everything is terrible, and you're playing scum basically. So you're not heroes. You're not
Yeah.
paladins and knights in shining armor. You are dregs and the lowest of the low. And maybe this world doesn't deserve to be saved. Maybe it's a good thing that it's ending. But it's still, this world is still where you have your shit. Like you still want to try to keep it alive, even though it sucks. That's where all your stuff is. So, but that's also like the whole ending of the world thing. It's I don't know. It's a thing with the inevitability of it. Like you can't save the world. It's doomed to begin with. So you just have to deal with that. And yeah, it's just like our world.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, this
And
is amazing.
Mr. Nilsson, I'm interested
Yeah.
to your reply.
Yeah, I agree with Johan, and it was very important especially when I did the setting for the world, because I have problems to read manuals about settings and years and stuff like that, like 100 pages of setting. It's hard for me to read that much, so it was important for me to make it short, but also leave it open for everyone that reads the book to come up with new questions, answer questions that are not answered in the in the setting book themselves, to let the imagination go wild, so to speak. That was very important, and that's also the case regarding the rules. It's important that you have, the basic core rules doesn't. So in lots of situations, you have to come up with some rules yourself, and fix that as a game master, and that was very important as well. Also important to not go, complete dark. It was very important to include humor
Yeah.
in the book as well. That was very important. So it shouldn't be some nihilistic kind of feeling. It's supposed to be a bit fun as well. And I guess that might have been what appealed to a lot of people as well. that it's not complete dark.
Yeah, there's a lot of humor, a lot of gallows
Yeah.
humor in it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
As a man born in 1982, when I see Morkborg, the first things that come up in my mind is just Hash Williams with a chainsaw on their hand. So at the end, no, I think there are a lot of games, including this topic, but I think that who comes from 80s feels
Yeah.
in this way. But I could underline one sentence that Pele told: "Let your imagination go wild." I would like to underline this sentence because it's, I think, the rule number one for every people that approach the TTRPGs, including Morkborg, but even the other ones. It's very important, I think.
Absolutely. Do whatever you want and make the game yours. Like don't try to find the answers in the rule book or in like from us. Like we don't have the answer, you do at the table. It's your game.
Yeah,
I
that's
I underline even this.
yes, I agree with that. It's amazing. And we have two very interesting questions. Actually, it's quite the same questions. So from the Hat Cat Live and also from Sergio Paz. If you can read it, or if you wanna, I read it aloud. So I'll
Yeah, you
also
can read it. You can
yeah,
read the Head Cat
I
one.
read the Hat Cat Live because it's almost the same. The Sergio Pass was what is your initial inspiration for Morporg? And the other is I know the games thanks to Ubiball and Eric, super newbie to RPG. Never heard of it before, but intrigued me. Which are your main sources of inspirations to build your themes and aesthetics for the game outside specific RPG stuff, like such as movies, music, literature, etc.?
You want to go or should I?
You can start first, Johan, if you want. This time. So.
I think
Yeah.
inspiration wise, it was a lot of musical inspiration. So Mörk Borg is extremely musical as a project. So we have the track list or the list of bands that helped us and everything. And so I think just that whole world of musical influences is important. Listening to music, but also like album covers, gig posters, everything like that. Aesthetically, I think like punk scenes and comic book art, creepy pasta, that sort of stuff. And
Fantastic.
yeah, and I think
Fantastic.
um I don't know. There's a lot of movies as well that doesn't really have. So, for example, one of my the movie that I most I think resembles the tone is the what's it called? The Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
You know that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's super funny, it's super grim, and it has sort of the right vibe. And also Mandy, the movie with Nicolas Cage in it.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
The one from
Spot-
Panos Cosmatos, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. It's spot on the vibe. I mean, it's the wrong sort of setting. It has like motorcycles and chainsaws, but
Yes.
if you change that to like horses and Zweihander swords, that's perfect, I think. And yeah, that sort of wild aesthetic is also my inspiration.
Yeah, I agree. For me, it's also those movies and a couple of others, but primarily it's music for me. More than other RPGs, actually. Of course, I'm inspired by the old school Renaissance games and how Dungeons and Dragons was back in the 70s and early 80s. Also, that was very important. But music is most important for me. When I'm writing, I always listen to music, and yeah, it's various kinds of music, but mostly it's doom metal and black metal for me. Some old black metal, mostly from Norway.
Okay, so from
yeah.
your neighborhood.
I love this
Yeah,
kind of.
sure.
I love your inspiration from both of you, so
Yeah.
it's okay for me.
I should also mention that I take a lot of inspiration from the nature as well. From when I'm out walking in the woods without any music or other stuff going on around me. That's also very inspirational for me.
Yeah.
But the best ideas come when you least expect it, like when you take a shower
Yeah.
or on the way in the subway on your
Mm.
way to the work. Then you have the brilliant ideas come up.
Always when you can't note it down, when you can't
Yes.
write it down. That's
Yeah,
when you get the best
absolutely.
ideas.
I in Italy we are usual to say that the best ideas come when you are sitting on the VC.
Yeah, exactly.
For my part, the worst or best ideas for MÖRK BORG comes when I'm stuck in the traffic. So I'm very angry, and I'll use it. Yeah. So for me, works that.
Yeah.
That's very good. Yeah. I think it's also like the dull gray landscape that we have here up in Sweden, where like in the wintertime the sun actually never rises. So that's very inspirational for this kind of setting.
I think that is very great inspirational point. I'm
Yeah.
sure about it. I'm sure. Okay, let's go further with some point just to analyze. We there is a question that comes even in the weeks, even into Instagram. It is, what will be the future of MÖRK BORG in terms of uh, publication of original parties, and what you feel about the sounds of MÖRK BORG? So Cyborg, any other production from Stockholm Cartel. So what will, how you see the future for all your production?
It's kind of hard to say because we can't really say anything before we want to announce it, but we can say that we're working on stuff at least. Like we are writing and designing and having a lot of ideas, both for MÖRK BORG and for Cyborg. And I think the Death in Space guys are also like working hard on the next release for that game. So like it's a constant production and ideation going on, but it's a little too soon to speak specifics, I think. But
Okay.
yeah.
But I mean, we did the Ferretory and the Heretic scenes, those extra books for MÖRK BORG.
Yeah.
And it would feel a bit boring to make a third scene. So we need to surprise ourselves somehow.
Yeah.
Regarding MÖRK BORG. We
So-
might have other things going on as well.
So I think
we'll
that
see.
yeah, just to reply to anyone, we
Yeah.
have a perfect case of a 20 on inspiration on our dice by Mr. Johan Nohr and Mr. Pele to avoid any possible spoiler to make to anyone. So very congratulations for this. You just gave another lesson to all the player online. So thank you very much for this. Anyway, you spoke about the Death in Space, and we are happy also to say that here I think we have played all possible game from Stockholm Cartel. So anything you just publish will
Nice.
be brought in our channel to play.
Yeah.
Everything,
I
I
like that.
think.
Absolutely. Also, Ubibol is also me also a huge fan of Orkborg. We had the pleasure to speak with Grant Howitt and
With Grant, yeah.
live here before, and so we hope we can talk to Carl Druid, but it's quite difficult to reach.
We have a direct line. We can ask him.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
when
yeah.
we are offline, we will ask you too. And we hope also we will have Christian Zalen here because it will be very, very nice, and all the other people from Stockholm Cartel. And something we would like to ask you is what do you think of the current tabletop RPG market or community, and some recent issues. If you'd like to talk about it in general.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff happening now
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
That's why we ask.
Yes.
with a certain company. I
Someone
think
in
what you
chat is writing OGL.
it's the OGL, yeah. I don't think. I mean, we're not affected by it at all because we don't write under the OGL.
Absolutely.
And I think I don't know. Maybe it's good to shake things up a bit and maybe not have one big company to rule them all. If something is gonna happen, like I don't know, I have no idea, and I don't want to. Yeah, I don't really have a comment. I'm very happy with the third-party license that we have, and
Okay.
we don't try to, we don't take a cut of anything. We don't try to claim ownership of any third-party publication.
Yeah.
So.
To be clear, not
we
all.
will only we will only change it a little bit and take 10%
Yeah, exactly.
in the next license.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, obviously now people are talking about the OGL, but
Yeah.
yes, it's a huge topic now.
Yeah.
Huge topic, but also if you had something else to add about the community, the games, the stuff that it's coming out now, a big OSR movement now, as I think it's started. So what do you think about it?
It's a lot of cool stuff coming. Like every time we go to a convention, you always find new games.
Yeah.
And I think especially like games, I really appreciate games that try to move away from the nostalgic part of OSR and like explore new ways of doing stuff. Maybe inspired by the old things, but trying out new concepts. So maybe what people call the NSR, the New School Revolution. Like
Yes, absolutely.
I'm not a big fan of all the labels and shit. Like I don't really care what you call it, but at least like rules light games that focuses on creativity and thinking outside the box, I think is fun. And yeah, no, there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of cool stuff coming. A lot of Kickstarters. Way too many.
Way too many.
To
Way
keep
too
up
many.
with.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. And Pele, do you agree?
Yes, I agree. And yeah, I can only add that. Yeah, I think, like Johan said, there will be lots of good stuff coming out of this as well, of course. So yeah,
Cool.
not much more to add. We are very happy from the MÖRK BORG side that we are outside everything.
Yeah.
Very much so.
Yeah.
May I ask you one thing, just to be curious? But when Mr. John Nohr, Mr. Pele Nilsson do not play to MÖRK BORG, what kind of game do you like to play?
Oh, nice.
What do you say, Pele?
Yeah, I'm playing lots of games from Free League actually. I play OSR games as well, like old school essentials and games like that. But also games from Free League, like I said, I played The One Ring with my kids, for example, and Mutant Year Zero, and the older versions of Mutant as well. So lots of. I really like the rules light games as well. That's when you have like free abilities and not much more, and some equipment. I really like those kinds of games as well. So you have to improvise a lot and make up your own rules. So yeah.
I've played recently also with my family because I live in a smaller city and I don't have any friends here, so I have to play with my family. And my son who is 4, I just introduced him to Mouse Ritter,
Oh,
and
it's
yeah,
perfect.
it's really good. So we played 2 sessions so far for like 45 minutes each, and it's nice. It's a very good, like regardless if you're playing with kids or with adults, it's a very good OSR game. Very clever rules and very nice like setting. Lots of ideas to steal from it, and so we played that. And I'm also trying to like explore more solo games, trying that, which is an interesting phenomenon, I think, that you can just sit and play by yourself for an hour or so. So
Yeah.
I hope to see more of those.
Speaking of which, now as I just received the material from the Kickstarter of a product very popular in your country, which is in English it's Dragonbane. I'm not trying to pronounce it in Swedish because I will murder it, and and I don't want to do it. And
Drakar och demoner.
okay,
Drakar och
perfect.
demoner,
Thank you.
yeah.
And it was amazing that there was your also your part of the solo part, and this is really incredible. I can't wait to try it by myself.
I actually haven't seen it yet, the game. Have you, Pele? Have you seen the Dragonbane?
Yeah, I think we lost some sound from Eric. I'm not sure.
Oh,
Did we?
what?
Yeah,
Did
or
you?
maybe it was some delay.
Oh,
maybe it was delay.
Yeah, I've seen the game, and I've been a bit involved in the game, and they told me that the structure in the adventures are very inspired by the introduction adventure in MÖRK BORG, so that was really nice to hear. And I have also done one adventure for the box set that is coming next summer. So I wrote an adventure for that.
I know.
Yeah, and I got some feedback on that, and I'm working. There are always other projects coming in between MÖRK BORG and me, at least. So I want to do lots of stuff for MÖRK BORG, but there's always some other project going on. So
Same for me.
But I think it will be a great game. I think it's a bit like Dungeons and Dragons, and a bit like the other Free League games, and also very inspired by how this game was back in the 80s when all the grognards like me were playing it in the early 80s.
Yeah.
So it will be a great game.
I would like to admit one thing, and because I have you both here, I'm very I reveal this secret. I played for many years with my wife a longer campaign in Dungeons and Dragons, the 5th edition. No, we played in the dungeon under Waterdeep. Okay, the dungeon of the full magician. No, and when I discovered Morkborg for the first time, I said, "Oh wow, what could happen if I do this with Morkborg? It will be probably 1,000 times more lethal in each level." So this is the dream of my life, and I promise that now that I have you here and I hear what is from you, from your voice, I think that I will do just for try the potential of this game. And the last question that I have for you is connected with this. Do you have the sensation, the feeling that Morkborg itself unblocks something into the world of a tabletop RPGs? It's like breaking a dam, okay? Do you have this sensation, this feeling?
I think we've heard people say similar things, that at least when, well, both when they're playing games and also when they're making games, that they feel like it's okay to break rules, and it's okay to like not follow a certain guidelines or whatever. Like you can think more freely. I'm not sure if that's unique to MÖRK BORG or if it's about like rules light systems in general, but that's, we've heard a lot of stories about that, which is nice. And I think it's because it's so vague and it's mostly based on like vibes and rulings. It kind of encourages people to play outside of the rule set in a way and make up new rules, which I think is good. And you can apply that to other games too. Like you can take that into 5e if you play that. You know, you realize that whatever it says in the book, I don't have to care about that. I can make it up while we're playing. So I think so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, me too. I agree with that, and it's also very easy to play other kind of adventures that are not based on MÖRK BORG, to to convert it into MÖRK BORG, because the rules are so easy. So you can play with whatever you want with MÖRK BORG and do whatever you want, so to speak. Yeah, so it's a big question.
One
It's yeah. Sorry.
one thing it's important that I think Morborg makes people to understand that your character can die and it's not a big deal. It was something in the old school games, and Morborg make it fun again. So people now is now playing Morborg, saying, "Let's see how many times we will die," and it's been again acceptable. And
I think it's fun because that allows you to try different things. Like you're not
Absolutely.
scared of character death, so you can try to push the button or pull the lever or attack the strange monster. If you die, you just roll up a new character. Well, as in other games where you're more precious about your character, you would avoid those sort of things and thus avoid fun moments in the game. So
Absolutely.
Yeah, you have to avoid combat and come up with other kinds of solutions. And
Yeah.
I think that's the soul of how it was 40 years ago as well.
Yeah.
And I've heard and seen a lot of like it's very easy to die in MÖRK BORG, and you start out with 1 or 2 hit points and stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, the magic user in the first versions of Dungeons and Dragons had a die 4 to start with,
Yeah.
die 4 hit points.
Yep.
And a fighter could start with 1 hit point if he had bad luck on the die roll. So yeah. There was lots of death.
Those are the
then as well.
characters that last longest, usually. The
Yeah.
ones with 1 HP, because they're careful and they play smart. So
Absolutely.
having high hit points is actually a curse for survivability, because you get hubris and you think, "Oh, I'm good," and then you die.
And
If
then
have
you
1 hit
get
point,
a very big hit and you're dead.
if you have 1 hit point, you stay away from combat and
Yeah,
you try to think cleverly
absolutely.
instead. So that's the key.
Just to confirm this position, I would like to tell that you unblock one thing for sure. The people in the recent, I think, 10 years, 15 years, coming from the new millennium, there is this sort of idea that the player is something untouchable, okay, and that is something that you need to avoid in any way, and you just cultivate like your character like it was a Pokemon, you know. You just cure him, you just give a care, no. But at the end, we are speaking about adventure into dungeons with a terrible creature, and that in any site. So what you unblock it is your character gonna die maybe in 1 minute, maybe in 1 hour, maybe in one session. So don't feel so close to him because that is next to you. So this is something that is even if it comes from the past, as Pele said, your approach in this game is absolutely unique at this time, in this period of time, in this actual scenario of tabletop RPGs. So this is, I think, is the one of the topic of the make Morkborg something unique in this panorama, okay, in this view of a tabletop. And moreover, just to conclude, I would like to say to Johan that anyone see the cover and the style of illustration of Morkborg say, "Oh my God!" Because it's some you unblocked really a way to illustrate the manuals that is completely different. Because at the end, it's very linked to the past till arrival of Morkborg, and I could say honestly, with the arrival of the illustration of the Free Legion manuals. But your one is just a boost, okay? It's like NOS into an engine, okay? You just push something that each one says, see this, tell, oh my God, I've never seen things like this.
That's nice. Thanks. Yeah, we wanted to shake things up as well,
Yeah.
and make something that had never been done before. Like that was actually one of the goals, to like make a book that would stand out in the shelves. Because I was like scanning my shelf, looking at it and seeing all the spines of the books, and like there was no neon yellow screaming at you in that
Yeah.
shelf. So it's kind of like we made a book that is impossible to hide, which is a very small but very very loud book. And I think
Yellow in the manual,
Yeah.
incredible.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yellow in the
exactly.
manual, incredible.
And it's like
Yeah.
I don't
Go
know.
ahead,
I
Johan.
think I think it might have inspired people to be a bit more experimental in their graphic design, for better or worse. I mean, maybe sometimes you need to stay within the lines and follow some rules, but it's a good as an exercise to try as a creative to break the rules sometimes, just to let loose. So I'm happy to see that people are like accepting that and trying out new things.
Okay, perfect. I love the yellow of Morkborg. I'm obsessed with the yellow of Morkborg. I have a final question, and I'll ask you with a quote that I think not many Italian can get it. It's not every toilet needs a dungeon. I actually love it. If you can say a few words about Cartelian Clamor, your podcast, and also explain this quote for everybody
I
who
don't.
doesn't know.
It was a misquote.
I know.
The idea we talked about what you need to have in a dungeon. Like if you when you're writing a dungeon, like does it have to be a logical place, or can you go more into like the mythical underworld
Okay.
thing? Does every dungeon need to have like facilities? Does it have to have to have a toilet and a kitchen? No, it doesn't have to do that. Just do what's fun. And then Christian, I think it was, who said that does every toilet need to have a dungeon? And it kind of has to, because there has to be a subterranean level in the
Now
toilet.
I
But
want a toilet with a dungeon.
yeah, but that's we have a podcast called Cartelian Clamor that you can look for in wherever you find podcasts, and it hasn't been updated since Dragon Meet, so it's a few months late. We're planning an episode very very soon, but we talk about games and games related things in it. It's kind of chaotic at times, but it has some gold nuggets in it, I think.
Ordet färg syftar på en rad olika företeelser i vardags.
So,
Yeah.
someone come from Dead in Space to tell you to stop.
That was Siri's eavesdropping on me.
Oh, absolutely.
May if everybody agrees, I would like to, I think that it's time for the conclusion, because the time of our talk is going to conclusion. But
Absolutely.
let me tell you one final things to you both. uh, After this talk, that I hope that it can be replied even in the future when you will have more content created by you, as a testify that we are really interested, and not just in your actual game but in your creative creation processing, okay. uh, I would like to tell you that after this talk that we have, I think that I will be satisfied of my future role playing style, writing and mastering and playing. If I have a 10% of the agree that you have in the creation process for you both, and I think for all Stockholm cartel, because it's not easy creation process. It's something that it's hard even for one person, and you are not one person. You are a group of friends, group of people that create something that break absolutely the market, break the world of tabletop RPGs, just all together, maybe in front of a beer, maybe listening some music or working all around. So if I do these things for 10%, 10% no more, I will be happy for the rest of my life.
Oh,
Wow, that's high praise.
yes.
I'll be, I'll be buying whatever you put out, you know.
Yes.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
I'll judge you. No.
Yes.
So we will do next talk when we have a very long white beard and we have 80 years old or something like that.
Okay.
Let's pen it in. Yeah.
So we will look forward for your next project. I'm actually very intrigued about what we will be, and I wanna thank you again. Absolutely. Also from our friend Admin T that cannot be together with us, and also we will thank everybody who came here today to listen us. And if you want to say something, then we will go and concluding this amazing chat.
Do you want to say something, Pele? What do you have to say for yourself?
Yeah, it was great to be here. It was really nice. And yeah, I love to interact with other people as well in a chat. That's not too often we have done that actually. So that's great as well.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Quindi I'll tell something in Italian. Ragazzi, se volete chiedere ancora qualcosa a Pelle e Johan è il momento. Something I've written, Beer Borg. I don't know what does it mean. I don't know if they refer to the brand of beer that is connected to MÖRK BORG or no.
Maybe that's. I still haven't tried that beer that we made.
I'd like
have
to
to
try
Me
it.
neither.
I'm very curious.
I would love to try it
It
as
does
well.
not exist, but if one day I will exist, I promise I will drunk with this.
It does.
It does exist. You people.
Yeah.
No, it does exist. I will
Absolutely.
drunk with that for sure.
Yeah.
It will be the greatest drunk in my life.
No, but apart from that, yeah, I agree. Oh, sorry, I agree. It's very fun to be here, and you can, if you want to find us, you can find us on pretty much any social media channel. Unfortunately, and we also have a mailing list that we should promote it more, but that's where you can get to hear from what we're up to. And join our Discord if you haven't. It's a nice place.
Absolutely. It's a very amazing place and also an horrible place with horrible ideas in a good very way. So you have to join it.
Yeah.
We are pushing all the things that come from Stockholm Cartel and MÖRK BORG.
Absolutely.
That someone says, "Do you work with them?" It's a dream of my life, but never happened.
Oh, stop it.
So I don't see any other questions. So I think that we can say thank you again to Johan and Pele for being here, and hope to have you again here, and maybe one day meet you in person. It will be amazing. I don't know if you ever been in Italy. I hope I can make to Sweden soon.
Yeah, I'll let you guys know if we ever go to Italy. I've been there once before, and
I've been there 3 times.
Yeah, really. You have
Yes.
3
Maybe.
times. Oh, that's
Yes.
cool.
Perfect.
Next time in my house.
Yes.
Absolutely. You're welcome whenever you want.
Thank you.
Awesome.
So, it's time to close. Ringrazio tutti quanti quelli che sono venuti in chat stasera e andiamo in chiusura. Thank you again to Johan and Pele, and thank you everybody who came here this evening. Bye
Thank you very
bye.
much. Thank you.
Thank you again.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.